Hey guys, it's Jay Berube with Jay Berube Coaching, and today I am in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm at a ClickFunnels event trying to expand my knowledge so that I can give more back to you. And when I was on the plane, I was just writing frantically about absentee owners because it's been top of mind lately, and I want to share everything that I can with you so that you can convert way more appointments. So what I have today for you in this video is how to set absentee owner appointments, how to set more absentee owner appointments, even if you're already setting them. So first, let me break it down into three different types of appointments, okay? Three different types of appointments. Now, the first one, of course, the best one is face-to-face. That's your best option. But these are absentee owners. Sometimes they'll live locally but not live in the property. But most of the time they live in another state, in another area. So face-to-face isn't always going to happen. So now the next step is video. And video is thinking outside the box because most real estate agents don't typically utilize video in the way of conducting an appointment. So this is something that the seller is going to recognize and they will be impressed. I mean, like this, they'll be surprisingly shocked. So video is good because you're face-to-face and you just have a much better chance of converting. Now, the third way is on the phone. The phone's good. You just have to be good at what you're saying and how you're saying it. Your presentation needs to be more solid if you're not face-to-face, okay? So those are the three different ways. So now, why do we set an appointment? Okay, what's the whole goal of the appointment? Think about it. There's two reasons why we're setting the appointment, okay? Two reasons. So we're on the phone, we're talking to the absentee owner, and there's two things, and you can think of it this way. Think of two STPs. STPs, like Stone Temple Pilots, for those of you that know the band. So the STPs, the first one is seeing the property, and the second one is signing the paperwork. So the whole goal, even if you're going on a regular listing presentation to John and Jane Smith, and you need to see the property because you need to see the property for, evaluation. You also need to see it to see what buyers you're going to be able to bring to the property, any recommendations that you need to give to them, but you also need to have them sign the paperwork. Now, it doesn't matter if they're local or if they're out of state, because you need to use techniques if they're out of state. This is how absentee owners are different, okay? For many different reasons, but since they're not there, it can be challenging if you don't think outside of the box. All right, so let's talk now about seeing the property. Now, if they don't live locally, you might be wondering, how the hell am I going to see the property? How's that going to work out? Well, you need to think outside of the box and be prepared with these 5 different ways that you can do it. So the first way is it might be rented out, so you could meet with the tenants. And the script for that is pretty simple. When you're asking them if the property is rented out, you could say, well, Jane, it sounds like what I should do is head over to the property. I can meet with the tenants. Now, you can do either one of two things. You can just give me their number directly, and I can just give them a call, introduce myself, and let them know you wanted me to come see the property to give a market value. And I could also offer them some type of value at the same time because, tenants, would like to see some kind of value as well. And then the second thing is, if you wanted to, Mrs. Smith, you could call them and let them know that I'll be contacting them to set something up. So that's the first way, is tenants. Now the second way is a friend. A lot of people have other people that they know in an area that might be able to show you the property and open you the door. Then the third way is if it's vacant and on lockbox. Sometimes it is. Taking a sip of water. So sometimes it's vacant on lockbox, and the reason for that is if it's just easy access for them if they don't use the property all the time, and maybe they don't rent it out, but they just use it sometimes, or maybe they have it in a seasonal rental program, so they might have a lockbox on it. So that's the third way. Now the fourth way to see the property is they can send you a key. Doesn't usually happen that way, but it's still an option, so I wanted to throw it out there so that you know. And then the fifth way, of course, is if they are local. So if they're not local and they're not going to send you a key, there's those three ways. You find out if there's a tenant in place, number one. Number two, find out if they have a friend that'll show it to you, but you ask without saying, you ask open-ended, because you don't, or you ask either or. Just like I was saying with the tenant, well, we can do this one of two ways. You can call the tenant, or I can call the tenant. So you're giving them those options. So tenant, friend, or vacant lockbox. Now, there's three rules to signing the paperwork. Okay, so now we're moving on to the second STP. Three rules to signing the paperwork. Rule number one, send it ahead of time. So you're making the appointment with the absentee owner, and you're on the phone, it's the first conversation, and you say, okay, great. So, you try to get the appointment to go see the property. And let's say that you get that and it's a friend that's going to meet you. Fantastic. I'm going to meet your friend. I'm going to call them. We'll meet at X and X a time. And then this is what's going to happen next. So you set the expectation. And then this is where that second STP comes into play, the signing the paperwork. You say, I'm going to send you just some information about myself so that you know who's going over to the property, and then also send you paperwork that if you do decide that you want to sell the property, if it makes sense, you have that ahead of time so that you can review it. Fair enough? And then they'll say yes, because they want to look at that anyway. So you send that to them ahead of time, the paperwork, okay? So important. And what you also do is when you're setting the expectations, you let them know that once you're done the property, so you're setting the actual appointment for the phone call, and it has to be a time. So if you make the appointment to go see the property with the friend Tuesday at 4, you let them know, I'm going to go see the property Tuesday at 4 with your friend. Well, it's probably going to be about 30 minutes to an hour, and I want to make sure that I get as much detail as possible in there. So will you be available around 5 o'clock on Tuesday? And if so, great, let's do that. But if not, then let's do it a different time. So you have to set the appointment for it, okay? So send the paperwork ahead of time. Now, with the appointment, whether it's face-to-face, over the phone, video, whatever it is, you want both of the owners to be there. Or if there's multiple owners, you want both of the owners to be on the phone call. Multiple owners, both of them to be on the phone call. And there's different ways to set that up, but it's pretty simple if you just do it the right way in an authoritative manner, right? And then the third thing that you need to know on the signing the paperwork is to close. You have to ask for the sale. That's the whole point. Why did you work so hard to understand the process with absentee owners? And then once you understood the process and you got on the phones, well, you worked so hard to generate leads. Then you worked so hard to understand that process, and then so hard to actually get the appointment, and then you spent time doing the other thing, and then what? You're not going to ask for the business? Don't do it. Ask for the business. You have to, okay? So recap. We have setting the appointment. So how do you set more appointments with absentee owners? This is how you do it. Okay, you have the two STPs, seeing the property and signing the paperwork. Now, it's to see the property. It's either a tenant lets you in, it's a friend that lets you in, vacant on lockbox, send you a key, or they're local. And then the three rules to signing the paperwork, which is the other STP, is send it ahead of time. Both of the owners or multiple owners have to be there. And then the third one is you have to close. So, fair enough. Good. You get some good stuff out of that. This is what I want you to do. If you like the information that I'm sharing, if it's helpful to you, if you want to implement it, if you want more of it, then click below, click subscribe on the YouTube video. Or if you're not watching this on YouTube, go to YouTube and sign up for J. Berube Coaching YouTube channel, and you'll see a lot of awesome videos like this. All right, see ya. Go get them.